Now then, the Boxing Day tsunami was a ferocious reminder from nature that we live on a very dangerous planet. In the face of primal forces like that, mankind's only hope is early warning and preparation, which is why more and more volcanologists are becoming increasingly concerned about the huge supervolcano that sprawls just below the Earth's crust in America's Yellowstone National Park. Now that's the area, that shaded area, that will one day be utterly devastated when the thing blows, which it will. And then the rest of us can look forward to catastrophic climate change, the equivalent of a nuclear winter, where plants and animals would be wiped out. Cheerful stuff, eh?
Sorry.
Sir, please sit down. The captain hasn't turned the fasten seatbelt sign off yet. Sir,
Field office. I need to
Sir, I have to ask you to turn your phone off.
Jack! I think he's over here!
Ah, don't touch my arm! This isn't mud. It started.
With us now, Ailsa Orr, the producer of that programme, and Nick Petford, who's Professor of Earth Sciences at Kingston University. How much of this is science fiction, Ailsa, and how much is it a prediction of what is likely to happen in the relatively near future?
It will happen again. So to that end, it's not science fiction. It is, our term for it is science prediction. You know, these events have happened at Yellowstone 3 times in the past, in the historical past.
How many years ago?
The first one was 2.1 million years ago, and then they've been on. They happen every 600 to 700,000 years.
So we're overdue.
Well, we're within the time period when they know the next one's going to happen, but that time period is 100,000 years.
Right.
So essentially, we're 640,000 years into that cycle. So it could be. I mean, all the scientists say it could happen tomorrow.
And this is no Krakatoa or Mount St Helens, which are spectacular events in themselves and can change the weather a bit. This is something of a different magnitude, yeah?
Massive scale. I mean, this one, the one that we feature in the film, which is based on the first super eruption at Yellowstone, is 2,500 times bigger than Mount St Helens.
So that's the difference, is it, Nick, between a volcano and a supervolcano? Just the sheer size of it?
It's the size. I mean, there's various ways you can estimate the size of a volcanic eruption. There's a thing which is similar to a Richter scale called the Volcano Explosivity Index, which is a scale from 1 to 9. So on that scale, each increment in number is 10 times more powerful than the previous. And so to kind of get some perspective, Mount St Helens, remember that volcano eruption recently? Well, back in the late 80s. That was a 5. Now, the thing that could go off in Yellowstone and has gone off in the past was an 8. Jeez. No one's ever experienced a 9. It's probably a global extinction event.
So a wide area of America will be seriously affected. I don't quite understand how it's going to affect us in Europe as well.
It's the dust cloud, isn't it?
It's the dust, yeah. I mean, a lot of this has been really come about from modelling scenarios of what would happen in a nuclear war, for instance. You know, sort of the world's nuclear arsenals, and there's lots of dust and gas and particles go up into the atmosphere. And you know, researchers realise that could have a cooling effect. If you just plaster all this dust and material into the atmosphere, you block out the sunlight and you lower the Earth's temperature. And depending on how long the stuff remains in suspension in the atmosphere, that could be for months or even years.
So, crops, whole harvests could fail, animals would die, trees would die. I mean, worst case scenario, it's goodbye. You know, the lights are going out everywhere.
Well, hopefully not. You know, our research revealed that the first 10 years after a super eruption would be the most devastating, and it would, and it's climate change. It's exactly that. 10 years. Jeez. We'd be looking at a decade of absolute, catastrophe. As ever, it's the southern hemisphere that gets it worst because life is more precarious there anyway. Right. But we're looking at drops of, 15 degrees centigrade in the southern hemisphere. The monsoon would fail, and everything, all the life that depends on that would vanish as well.
All right. We'll come back to this in 2 seconds. Let's see another clip from your great programme. It really is interesting and very well put together. Well, no, but it's very well put together and responsible. This is a geyser eruption. These are some of the signs, apparently, that things are about to blow.
These things happen in Yellowstone Park regularly.
They happen. Now, Nick, you say that there have been, and these have been recorded, what you describe as unsubtle ground movements around the supervolcano in Yellowstone in the last decade. What do you mean unsubtle ground movements?
Well, earthquakes, I mean, these areas are monitored, perhaps not as much as they should do, and maybe we can get onto that later on. But ground deformation is taking place kind of now. Ground deformation. So, well, just to kind of put it into perspective, these supervolcanoes, I mean, I want to backtrack slightly. I mean, you must resist the temptation to sort of over-sensationalise this. I mean, although it sounds all doom and gloom, I mean, there's a, in our lifetime...
But if it happens, it's sensational.
Well, it is, but there's a bigger chance you'll get hit by a bus rather than killed by this volcano, okay?
But go on about these abnormal movements.
So just to put it in perspective, what the volcano is not like a big mountain, like you'd think in sort of Mount Fuji, for example. It's a depression in the ground. It's a big... what we call a caldera, often filled with a lake, perhaps 70 or 80 kilometres across in the Yellowstone case.
About 50 miles, right.
About 50 miles. And down beneath there, maybe 6 or 7 miles down below, is magma, molten rock, which is moving around a bit. And that causes local earthquakes, and it can cause the land surface around the area of the lake in the caldera to rise up or settle down, on daily or sort of decadal cycles. But that's the normal pattern of behaviour.
What's happened in the last 10 years that's different?
All of that's taking place. Yeah, there's slightly more earthquakes. There was an incident where some buffalo were killed.
That was last year. Last year was an interesting time at Yellowstone when we were actually there doing the research for the programme in that one area of the park, Norris Geyser Basin, which is the area that our first eruption kicks off. Ground temperature heated up. We'd be walking down the track and the track would have disappeared. Essentially, it had been there a couple of weeks before. Bison died because of gas emissions. I mean, stuff like this happens at Yellowstone all the time.
Well, sorry, what did you mean, Nick, talking about there should be more monitoring going on?
Well, it's an important open question whether society decides to put more money into investigating and monitoring these volcanoes more carefully. I mean, again, the sensational aspect is exactly that. But the point is, one day, this thing will blow up, and it will happen, and it will be a global disaster. So, should we be spending money now
to protect
us and looking into that?
Well, how can you've done the research on this, Al? So, how can we protect ourselves, even if we knew that it was going to happen on the 3rd of October 2011? What can we possibly do? We can't stop it. How can we protect ourselves?
We can't stop it, but better monitoring will be able to give us some lead time. I mean, that's the thing about it. To evacuate the area, essentially, to get people as far away from Yellowstone Park as they possibly can.
And what about us?
And us, I mean, to start to stack food, to do the things that we would do in the case of kind of, any other big disaster.
And would it be possible to stop? I mean, you say it could last for 10 years, this period of gross climate change. Could we stockpile enough food to feed a nation for a decade? We couldn't, could we?
That's a very good question, but nobody's looked into it. I mean, that's the thing. The point, the research it's in very early stages. I mean, they've done more research into the likelihood of an asteroid strike and what people could do to arm ourselves against that. And this event's 5 times more likely than an asteroid strike.
5 times more likely?
5 times more likely. So our point really is, and the point of the people working at Yellowstone that we collaborated with very closely, is, let's find out more. Let's see what can be done. Let's highlight the danger here.
Well, should we just finish with one more clip? One more clip from your... Yeah, I think we have, from the documentary. This is, again, the very local effect of the big one, when it blows, and the incredible speed with which the dust cloud would spread outwards, overtaking helicopters, cars, the lot. This is graphically shown here.
You never know, right?
It's a surge. Go on. Up, we can't outrun it. Go on.
Jeez.
Well, thanks very much.
Yes, thanks for nothing, kids.
Uplifting stuff.
No, it is very interesting stuff, and obviously we must. I had no idea. We must all have this kind of awareness, so something can be done. Don't fancy Yogi Bear's chances very much.
No, he's in Jellystone. He's fine.